one thing is very clear ahead of Thursday night, and you're seeing it play out right now on social media, and that is how, with this debate scheduled for Thursday, what's one of the big plays going to be from the president? One of the big plays is going to be what? Abortion. It's all they got. It's it. Can't talk about the economy, can't talk about foreign policy, can't talk about, really anything in terms of success stories. So you have to fearmonger around the issue of abortion. And yesterday, there were half a dozen posts on social media from the president and his vice president, Kamala Harris, on the very issue of abortion. I mean, you saw it if you were on any of the social media platforms, Facebook, Instagram, X. They were all talking about it ad nauseum yesterday. Joe Biden, here are a handful of tweets yesterday or X posts, I guess I should call them, from Joe Biden. One here is there's one person responsible for overturning Roe v. Wade. Another one here, a vote for Trump is a vote for a national abortion ban. That came down 14 hours ago. Donald Trump, this is from Joe Biden 19 hours ago, will restrict access to birth control. It's terrifying. Joe Biden also 19 hours ago, my message to Americans is this: Kamala Harris and I are fighting like hell to get your freedom back. We won't stop until we restore the protections of Roe v. Wade for every woman in every state. Okay. All of those things are things that Joe Biden has posted on his social media here in the last 24 hours. So ask yourself why he's doing this. Because it's all he's got. And by the way, it's not even true. Donald Trump was on a podcast here in the last couple of days, the All In podcast. It's done by some tech guys out in California. And he was specifically asked about the issue of abortion, and here's what he said.
The states are going to be voting. The people are going to be voting. The last thing people want is for that to go back into the federal government. It was always fought, and very importantly, and people wanted it, they wanted it back in the states where it belongs legally and for a lot of other reasons.
So you wouldn't support a national ban?
No, I wouldn't support a national ban. No, I would not.
I mean, Joe Biden literally tweeting out after Trump said that over the weekend in a podcast where he says, no, I would not support a national abortion ban. Joe Biden tweeting out yesterday, a vote for Trump is a vote for a national abortion ban, when he literally just said in the last couple of days he would not be in favor of one. Now, you might disagree with that. You might say, hey, that's not Trump being all in on the pro-life cause. You might feel, but the point is, that's not the point I'm bringing up here. The point is, this is what he said in a podcast 3 days ago. And then you have Joe Biden saying, well, if you vote for Trump, you're voting for a national abortion ban. It's like you're literally lying about what the guy said 48 hours prior to your post.
Would this be a cheap fake?
I see what you did there, John.
Come on, man.
That's right. I would say that KJP should argue that would be what she would call a cheap fake. And on that same podcast, Donald Trump talked a little bit more about abortion bans when he got asked about it. And he mentioned the state of Kansas as an example of where the people have spoken, even though, of course, they spoke in a way many did not like, including myself. The people did speak.
This might be the issue that determines the election, and many people believe it is. Are you going to do a national abortion ban? Would you support that, yes or no?
I don't need a national ban because it's up to the states. Right now, what I did is something that people have wanted to do from day one. 51 years it's been going on. And if you remember, over the years, you're too young, but over the years, all they wanted to do is they wanted to take it out of the federal government and move it into the states. And I got that done with the selection of 3 great justices. I got it done. And it was a big thing. But I will say over the last 10 years, or maybe a little bit more than that, they started talking about the number of weeks and this and that. A lot of different subjects came in. It was no longer just simply bringing it back. Every legal scholar, from Democrat to Republican, liberal, conservative, they all wanted it given to the states because from a legal standpoint, from a lot of other standpoints, including even a moral standpoint, they wanted it brought back to the states. And what I did is I got it back to the states. And now the states are in charge and the people are voting. And some votes are coming out the way certain people wanted, and some votes aren't coming out the way certain people wanted. I mean, if you look at Ohio, I would say it was a more liberal vote than people would have thought. And you could say that for Kansas. And then you look at Texas, it was a different story. But the people of the states have got that issue now, and they're voting.
He brings up value them both here in Kansas a couple of years ago. And many of us were disappointed in the way that vote went, but it obviously went down in flames. But it was up to us as Kansans on how we wanted that to play out. We had an opportunity to vote on this in a way that we never had under the 50 years of Roe v. Wade. And right now, it's pretty damn good. And by the way, this is all a moot point anyway, because the notion that Congress on either end, I mean, Democrats have had control of the House, the Senate, and the White House, and they never passed a bill on abortion and making it the law of the land. I mean, they hid behind Roe v. Wade for 50 years. And on the flip side, you know, you think that even if Republicans get a razor-thin majority in the Senate, maintain control of the House, and Trump gets into the White House, they're going to be putting, abortion onto the floor in the House of Representatives? They're not going to do it. They won't have the votes on it anyway right now. And Trump said he's not signing it. So you might think that's wrong. You might want Congress to do that. But the reality is that issue is so polarizing, it benefits both parties to leave it out there as a political punching bag on either side of the equation that neither party wants to realistically do anything about it anyway. It's back in the state's hands. And for now, while many of us who are pro-lifers would obviously prefer it not be a thing anywhere in the country, for now, it has been a step in the right direction.